Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast, your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome to Walking Dead Wednesday once again on our podcast. I am Sam. Joining me to discuss the 7B premiere episode of Fear the Walking Dead is my partner in crime. It's Stefan.
How is it going?
Alright, until I watch this crap.
We're going straight in. Okay,
Let's start as you mean to go on.
Let's go straight in. So we had 7A, and we enjoyed talking about 7A, and in fact, I think we actually enjoyed most of 6.
Yeah, we did.
7A was quite interesting with the whole nuclear fallout and what is happening, and then 7B has started and made us go, "Oh, Fear the Walking Dead's back."
Yeah, I'm actually gutted. I think that season 2, season 3 of this show is reborn in one episode, and I hope that's not going to continue.
It just made no sense from the first second to the end. Nothing.
No, it was steaming garbage.
Here's a deaf guy that can hear things and use a radio, and
No, we're gonna work our way through it and just try and depict something of worth from the whole episode.
I mean, my saving grace is that I do a lot of the IMDb stuff, get ready for the show.
Yeah.
And apparently, all 22 people that have left reviews on IMDb think the same as us.
Yeah.
If you did enjoy the show, feel free to email us and let us know why you enjoyed this episode.
No, to be honest with you, your opinion's invalid. No, it was a joke. No, I don't mind people finding joy in different things. I don't mind us having different opinions on shows and episodes of shows, definitely. I do find it a little bit aggravating when I see people who are basically paid by AMC to be influencers talking constantly about how wonderful things they are, even when they're not.
Yeah.
So, for example, I, for a little time, were talking with several people. Now, I'm not going to name them, but I was talking with several people about collaborations and things like that. And we, as a podcast, have been in touch with AMC over different things and there's points of view. And one of the things came up was how critical we had been of different aspects of the shows over time. And I said, well, that's the idea, it's opinion. You know, a podcast is an opinion, the same as someone who writes a blog or anything like that. And they said, well, anyone who, you know, we want to work with needs to really enjoy the show. I said, well, I wouldn't be watching it if it wasn't that. I said, but if you're trying to tell me that I have to, you know, be pissed in my mouth by you and call it sweet, sweet wine, it ain't going to happen. And that was the end of that conversation. And the collaboration with these other people, they were basically of the opinion that, oh no, everything they do is amazing. And I'm like, well, do you really think that? Or is it a case of you want to be on the inner circle, so therefore you won't ever call them out? And again, that was the end of that discussion.
Yeah, it does seem sad that, like, are you that concerned about your listening figures and your reputation that you can only have people that are pure kind of like, oh, but this was amazing, and when someone goes, oh, but look, this camera angle obviously gives away the person was going to die, and their response is, oh, but doesn't it give a good angle of lighting? No, shut up, what are you doing? Yeah.
No, it's fine. And the other studios and the other people that we do have some sort of interaction with on a fairly regular basis enjoy the critique. Enjoy the kind of, so you didn't like that then? Why? How come? Interesting. Well, that's your point of view. Our point of view is this. They are what I would call is secure. They believe in what they're doing. They believe in the show, the movies, etc. that they're putting out is at a good level, and if people want to critique it, they're fine to do that because they're confident.
They believe in their projects and what they are making.
I'm not actually sure AMC do. I think AMC reached a point with the Walking Dead universe where it's just all over the place.
It's money. There's no storyline behind it anymore. It's just a cash cow.
So regardless of that, we do need to sort of go through the episode. We have a cold open where Alicia basically comes to in a house with music absolutely blaring.
Yes.
She's fevered again, and I think I said to you, like, I'm baffled. Like, I feel like I've missed something. Like, how is she there? Where is she? The last episode I saw, she was with Morgan. You know, surely she'd be at the submarine. Where the hell is she? So straight away, I'm feeling confused. Now, being benefit of the doubt, if you like, to shows like this, I'm thinking to myself, well, she is fevered. She is confused. The show perhaps has given us that confusion, so we're feeling it from her point of view.
That would have
so
been
I'm
nice.
on board.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of on board. I'm kind of like, okay, let's try and give this a moment to like straighten itself out. She goes downstairs, finds a door open in this house. The music is blaring, sort of deafening. She's still all over the place. The camera angles are all over the place. She finds a guy. It looks like he's sort of sat at a piano or just sat doing something, and a walker is approaching him. He doesn't hear the walker coming, probably because of the music, at least that's my thinking at the time.
Yep.
So she stops the music by throwing the stereo on the ground. The guy's like, hey, what the hell are you doing? And then spots the walker and kills it.
Yeah.
Two things.
Yep.
He then shouts and goes mad at her. He literally would be dead if it wasn't for her.
It doesn't seem logical. Like, what have you done? You've broken my stereo. Ignore the fact the guy was about to bite my shoulder.
Yeah, ignore the fact I was literally about to be murdered.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect to it. Two, and this is a thing throughout this show, and Fear the Walking Dead actually does it more than The Walking Dead now. And me and you have talked about this, and I really, really want to just try and get anybody who watches these shows, and anybody who has an opinion on this, please get in touch, because I want to know if it's just me that this annoys me and takes me out. A knife, which has about a 3 to 4 inch blade, does not destroy a brain if it's driven up through the chin.
Yeah, this is
you
me.
are tickling the nose at best. What the hell is this?
Yeah, this is me with her whole hand claw thing she's got. Yeah. I actually sent you a WhatsApp yesterday, later on in the episode, where she's killing a load of walkers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've just put my hand against my face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think, considering it's only like her finger part, really.
Yeah.
I don't think my fingers would touch my brain.
Well, no. Let's say, at best, that's 4 inches of blade that you can drive in, okay? So everybody right now, so go from the bottom of your chin and go up sort of 4 inches. You get to your eye socket, maybe?
Just about, yeah.
Maybe? I mean, that's probably being generous. I don't get it. I don't get why this is a thing in this show.
I understand the brain at the back of your head is slightly lower, like it does curve round a bit, but they don't aim at that part. They go straight up through the mouth.
Yeah, and I don't get it. It's like it's gone from being a pet hate to it actually being something now that actively makes me think: do they even care about the product they're putting out?
Yeah,
because it's so stupid. It's like such a dumbass thing, and they do it as standard. Now they do it a bit in The Walking Dead, but nowhere near as much. But Fear, it's like this is how we kill walkers in Fear.
Yeah,
it's moronic. It is absolutely moronic. It's so stupid. Now the guy, he actually kills the walker by stabbing it through the eye with like the thing from the record player.
Mm-hmm.
That, no problem at all. Like that's fine. You know, he has destroyed the brain.
It's through the eye socket and straight in. Yeah.
So it's like in this, you've established how you kill walkers. It has been established from day one.
Mm-hmm.
So what the hell? You know, drive something up through the chin. And throughout this episode, you'll see it. And throughout every episode of Fear, you'll see it. And the worst thing is, like, you see the size of the blade that the knives they're using, they are small. If you're talking
little
about
flick knife, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're talking about someone's got a combat knife, then okay. You're driving a massive grip combat knife up through the skull. For one, surely a faster route would be the temple if you've got a knife like that.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway, right. I need to step off the ledge with that one. I think because
it's just a frustration. It is so frustrating. Like it's not needed. If you're gonna make a thing like, I think it was in the Fear of the Walking Dead as well, where they suddenly had, like, you know, they were walking upstairs and things.
Yeah.
Like, they constantly change the parameters of what the Walking Dead can do.
Yeah.
You know, are they going to be the mindless stumbling towards steps and falling over because they can't work out how to walk up them? Or are they able to walk upstairs because there's some sort of muscle memory? Are they able to open doors, or are they not able to open doors? You know, there are certain things that I feel like, especially when you've been going on for 7 seasons like this has now. If you put something in place, leave it there, or make a massive point about, oh my god, look, they're evolving.
Yeah, well, that's the interesting point about what happened with The World Beyond. That was 2 seasons of crap with an after-credits scene which actually was of interest, which is the fact there are different mutations of this zombie virus, and very, very different incarnations of walkers around the world.
Yeah.
It would appear that in France, for example, they are the World War Z walkers.
Yes, they were fast, they ran at a door.
Yeah, aggressive. You know, you got no idea whether that is just that individual or whether that is a larger population thing for that part.
My
of the
worry
world.
is the fact that we're never actually going to see anything to do with that ever again.
Yeah,
that is my worry with this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's infinitely possible with them for sure. You never know. But
The Walking Dead Europe, yeah.
The Walking Dead. Hey, so you laugh. There's all these spin-off shows coming. It could well be next. So focusing back on this episode, we do then get to know this guy a little bit. This guy is... See, it's so difficult because everything in this episode drove me insane.
Yeah.
This guy reveals himself to be deaf, okay? Now,
yes.
So help me with this, because I genuinely have got this kind of total and utter confusion around what the hell going on with this guy. He says he's deaf. You can see he's got a hearing aid which is clearly not charged anymore. Something is not working. And he says to her, I found you a few days ago. So she has been there a couple of days and has been out. Like the
passed out by the sounds of it, yeah.
Passed out, kind of fever dreaming and out of it. He then reveals that he's not heard anything. I think he says months, but even if he just says month, you know, he's not heard a thing in a month or more. So he is deaf, and he has to get her to slow down because he reads lips. So he's basically saying to her, like, you know, no, you gotta look at me. I can't understand you. Mm-hmm. So he has established in this scene he can't hear a thing. He has the music turned up ridiculously loud, so the vibrations of it, he can sense it and he can feel it. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
So that is what we have established in this. In this episode, a key part is he asks her about Padre.
Because I heard you calling it out in your sleep.
Yeah.
But you've had nothing for months.
Yeah. Now, to me, there are 2 possible answers to this. One, script writing in this show is friggin' awful. I think that's right. I think that's what's happened. I think this episode was trash from start to finish, and this was just another example of how lazy-ass writing is.
Yep.
Or 2, he's the creepiest bastard in the world who stared at her so intently while she was asleep, he could lip read the words she was mouthing in her sleep.
Yeah, see, I am really, really not sure of which one it is.
I'm not. I'm going to tell you right now. I know deaf people, and I know people who lip read.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, you have to concentrate, and you have to look at the person, and you need them to go a little bit slower, and you can generally pick up a lot of words from that.
Yeah.
If someone is fever dreaming and just saying words in their sleep, you are not going to be able to lip read that. That is such horseshit.
Yep.
I mean, I even messaged a friend just to say, this has happened on this. What do you think of that? And he went, never happened.
Yeah.
So,
there's a few bits like what was getting me was like if they had turned around and said that this guy was hard of hearing,
yeah,
so not completely deaf but hard of hearing,
yeah,
and he had the music up so loud so that he could actually hear it,
yeah,
and things like that, I could have gone with it. But when they tried to make it out that he's deaf and not heard anything for months, and then the things that happen continuously through this episode, you're like, well, he can't be deaf then, because clearly he's not deaf.
Again, given the good work that he did in 7A, and given the good work the series has done genuinely 5 and 6, I was still, when watching this, going with a kind of, okay, so who is this guy? Clearly he's not deaf. Clearly he's pretending. Why would he pretend to be deaf? You know, when are they going to reveal this? Who is he really? You know, and I'm kind of, I'm giving the show the benefit of the doubt that they've made it so friggin' blatant and obvious that this guy isn't actually deaf. It must be because he isn't.
Yeah.
But no. And I think it was the point where they're sat in some sort of auditorium. You know, he's dragged her off to try and get the bits he needs and stuff.
For his stereo, yeah.
And they're having this conversation about, you know, hearing music and conducting and all these things. And it suddenly hit me that this is just an awful, awful bottle episode. And there's actually no relevance at all. Like, this guy is just some random guy who's deaf. And they've ballsed up the script because they've given us stuff which suggests he's not deaf. And I'm watching, I'm thinking, geez, this really is, there's no point to this.
Yeah, it was the same point. When they're sat in the auditorium, my brain went, well, he's going to die by the end of the episode, and this is going to be absolutely pointless.
Yeah. So
it was at that moment, I was the same as you. I was like, why?
I actually never got him dying by the end of the episode in that moment. That came for me in a little bit after. So this guy called Arnold is chasing Alicia.
Yeah.
This guy called Arnold, acting like he's some sort of rogue cop, bursts into this guy's house, storming around it, and then leaves quite peacefully because the deaf guy tells him that, you know, she's not there, which was nice.
Yeah.
He then tracks the two of them down to this auditorium, and there's a confrontation, etc. And the deaf guy comes out, guns blazing. And so there's two parts of this. The first part is Alicia's confronted by this guy Arnold, who says, you got all of these people killed.
What people? When? What have we missed?
Yeah, so one, he's kept them all, which was nice of him, you know.
Keep the group together. Yeah.
Very governor of him. Two, have I forgotten this? Has it been so long since 7A that I've lost a scene where she got a load of people killed? I mean, she talks about it and she says, you know, I was following this guy and like these people died, and I'm thinking, I know you were off your head following a walker. I remember that. Yeah. And I remember there being problems and confrontations, but I don't remember a scene in particular where you got a load of people killed.
All wearing the same blue overalls, all walking together, and they all died. I don't remember this happening. Like,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, people message us if you're going to go, actually, yeah, episode 7, whatever, this happened. It could genuinely just be I've forgotten. But I'm watching this and I'm like, surely that would stick in my mind. But like, my overriding memory of where she was like the big reveal at the end of 7A of the fact she's lost her arm because she was bit, the fact she was still experiencing these fevers but wasn't turning. And
then the confrontation at the tower, and then that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, so
it does feel like I'm the same as you. I feel like I've missed an episode.
Yeah. It feels like there's like someone needs to
another one of these fantastic flashback memory scenes that we've not seen.
Well, don't get me wrong. Next week's episode, of course, could be the feeling like, oh, this is how she got all those people killed. Oh, great, cheers, yeah, brilliant.
Don't. I've gone from season 7 part A, genuinely looking forward to the next episode. Like, okay, this is really going somewhere. This is cool with the whole nuclear thing. pretty cool, to I'm now sat here going, oh, not another one.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. So the two of them are in the car. Now, this was the moment when they've got in the car and the walkers are sort of stumbling around.
Yeah.
This was the moment for me where I thought this guy's dead. Because he talked about following her. And she's on about, I get people killed, I do this, I do that. And the guy's like, oh, okay, yeah, I've heard everything you've said and I'll follow you. And I'm like, well, you're dead. That's basically like in a horror movie going, I'll be right back. And sure enough, the guy does end up dead in the episode. But here's the next thing. So we have this confrontation there where he lures this guy to the house with the idea he's going to try and kill him. So this guy survived this long in the zombie apocalypse by himself, hard of hearing and then deaf.
Yeah.
But, one day with Alicia awake and
and the guy's dead.
He's dead.
Yeah, he needs 1 day. 1 day and dead. That's it.
Yeah. So, like I said, anyway, the guy, at this point, okay, so Alicia leaves and she runs away from the house. And this guy has basically sacrificed himself so Alicia can get away. I don't know.
Yeah,
you just meet somebody and you're willing to do that for him. But okay,
I mean, don't get me wrong, she's gorgeous, but I don't quite think she's that willing to die for. Yeah. But this was the thing. I think I messaged you at the same time, didn't I? Going on to what you've just said about the whole surviving the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
Why is it people can survive all this time on their own, but one shot to the stomach and he's like, leave me. I'm dead already. Just leave me. There's no point in me trying to survive.
Well,
you're telling me that in all the time the zombie apocalypse, he's never had anything happen to him at all.
Well, to be fair, a gut shot typically is terminal unless you can get medical attention pretty quickly.
Yeah, but he doesn't even try.
Well, yeah, but you ain't getting that in the zombie apocalypse, are you? You ain't gonna able to dial 911. Like an ambulance rock up, like, yeah, hey, how you doing? Yeah, we're from the Commonwealth. Yeah, it ain't happening. So she then collapses on the road and has some sort of vision of this girl in gas mask. So at this point, right, I have basically I'm writing notes.
Yep.
And I have genuinely thrown my pen across the room and said out loud, which I then later wrote as a note, I swear to all of my gods, if this entire episode was some dumbass fever dream and she's about to wake up with Morgan on that freaking submarine, I am gonna lose it.
And in about 4 seconds,
she wakes up on the submarine with Morgan. So, here's the question for you. Did actually any of that happen? Because it sounds like it did in what she says to Morgan, but I don't know now. Like, I'm completely friggin' lost. Is she imagining all of this? Did she make up the deaf guy?
Do you know what the worst part of all of it is?
Go on.
I don't know if I care.
Oh, well, yeah, there's that. Yeah.
I think that's the worst. Like, it's a bottle episode. So already I don't care because it's a bottle episode. And then at the same time, she wakes up on the submarine and you're there going, oh, did she really meet the guy? Did she not meet the guy? Did she kill all those people herself? And she's now just hallucinating there was a guy there to make it seem worthwhile?
Yeah.
Did she kill that guy herself? It wasn't a walker that she stopped killing him. No. Did she kill him? Why? Why was he introduced to us? What was the point of this deaf bloke?
Zero. Absolute zero.
What has he done to forward the story in any way, shape or form?
I saw on Twitter several of the accounts that are in AMC's pocket basically saying, oh, people complaining because they didn't get the significance of him telling her that she's not following a walker, she's following herself. She has to hear her own voice. And I got accused of being misogynistic by simply saying I don't get it. This wonderful woman on Twitter pointed out that it's because she's a strong female character I have an issue with it. And I said, well, if your strong female character needed her man to tell her what to do to understand she's strong and female, then surely your point's bullshit. At which point I got blocked. Yeah. It is crap. It is total crap. If you are trying to build Alicia as a character who's going to lead and she's trying to find her own voice. Because at the end of the episode, she says, I've been around with my mother, around all these people, your vision, her vision. I need to follow my own. Yeah, 100%, that's absolutely fine. But you didn't need this weird-ass fever dream episode for her to discover that. It's weird. It's just... She is a very strong character in her own right, who has recently cut her own arm off to survive a bite, and is going through... To me, that is the most fascinating thing with her character at this moment, because it has massive ramifications for the whole Walking Dead universe. And yet we've just had an entire episode where she's basically fevered, and again, she's not turning, she's not dying from it, but is she just going to stay like this for the rest of her life? Is she some form of cure for this? Does she have something in her body? Is it the radiation that she's been exposed to that's basically preventing it?
Yeah.
All of these questions and all of this interesting stuff that all of us as an audience would love to know gets pushed to one side for some weird-ass fever dream with a deaf guy who wasn't actually deaf.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense at all.
Because when she's talking to Morgan, she alludes to the fact she went to go and see this guy, and it was a no, right? When she meets this guy who's deaf, she says to him basically the same story. It's like, I went to meet this guy and it didn't go well, and he's angry at me, da-da-da-da. So all of that could have happened. Or none of it happened. She went to see this guy and then she just collapsed. Because Morgan says, we found you. Which is what the guy said. The guy said, I found you.
Yeah, she collapses a good 4 times, I think, in this episode.
Yeah.
At different times, she just collapses and wakes up again. And each time she wakes up, you're like, what the hell is going on? Seriously, what the...
Yeah. Yeah,
I am hoping that this is a one-off and not how... Do you know what it feels like? You know how they're bringing back your favourite character?
Well, I was about to come on to that.
It's like they've decided that they need to, no, the show was getting too good. Take it back to the Madison days.
Well... Here's the thing. There are a lot of people who like Fear the Walking Dead because of Madison Clark, and
they are wrong. No.
If you were a fan of the show in seasons 1, 2, and 3, where it was Clark family centrist around Madison, then you are going to be excited that Madison is returning. To me, the show improved from season 4 onwards because they took the show in a direction where they introduced stronger characters, in my opinion, better actors, in my opinion, and enabled the show to evolve. Now, Nick quit and was killed off. Madison, I thought, was killed off. And Alicia grew with the new cast, and her character arc over that time, I thought, was great and was interesting. And the new ensemble cast, it was a real... To me, the show has just got better and better and better.
And now they're slowly getting rid of those guys and bringing back some of the old ones, and you're like, well, this is only going to go one way, surely.
Well, yeah, this episode for me was like one of the dark days of early Fear the Walking Dead, where I genuinely questioned why the hell am I watching this. There were times, the podcast started with me and Alfie started by talking about Fear the Walking Dead season 1. That was where we began, and then we did a retrospective to The Walking Dead to get it up to date, and that was where this whole thing started. So when I talk about Fear the Walking Dead, there is an element of affection in it for me, because it is where my podcast journey began. We've gone on to having thousands of listeners and people for all different types of shows, but it all began with Fear the Walking Dead. But it annoys me. It annoys me that they think so little of their audience that they looked at this episode and went, that's good, that's a pre-season debut episode if ever I saw one. If you think back to years and years ago, 20 odd episode seasons of all these shows like the A-Team and stuff like that, me and you watched as kids, came over from America, there would always be one episode which was flashbacks. Do you remember that? There would every season there would be an episode that was just purely flashbacks. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that, as I learned as I got older, was because a lot of these shows had to fill a certain amount of episodes, and they wouldn't have enough story, they wouldn't have enough arc or money to film these things. So they do an episode purely with flashbacks, therefore the cost of it was next to nothing and enabled them to do the amount of episodes.
Makes
it
sense.
felt like this. It felt like this episode was like, oh, we got to do how many more? Jeez, how in the hell can we do that with the story we've got? Oh, I know, she's got a fever, hasn't she? Yeah, just have some mad-ass fever dream with just her and a couple of other characters in it. That way, it's not going to cost us a lot. And we move on.
But for me, the real stupid thing for me is that if there's going to be 2 episodes in a season that you want to be really gripping and catch you and drag you in,
agree, yeah.
It's episode 1
Yep.
and episode 1 of part B. They are going to be the 2 episodes. Yeah, so they're the ones that are going to make you watch it and go, oh, this is building something great.
Yeah.
How many people do you think probably watched that episode and went, nah, don't worry about it?
Well,
I've got something better to spend my money on than Amazon Prime to get this, or to Amazon AMC Plus, or
that's
whatever
the
it is.
frigging worst thing for me in the UK right now.
We both paid for this.
To watch these episodes, I have literally got to buy them to watch them so we can talk about on the podcast. Either that or I have to wait 6 months and the show's ridiculously out of date. We do have listeners who want us to talk about the show. I mean, they probably turned off by now. But
yeah, sorry guys.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. I think we're going to call it. I think we'll draw a line under it. The whole episode was frustrating. I will end with this one thing. I will end with this one scene. This guy who's been hunting her finds a nuclear crater from obviously one of the warheads that landed, and within the crater there are thousands and thousands of walkers.
Oh yeah.
He says a herd must have fallen in, basically just marched their way into this crater, and in essence they're cooking in there. They're like sizzling. This is a radioactive herd of epic proportions. Now there's 2 things of this. One, I'm looking at it and going, well, there's literally a crater, there is no way out. Like, that is a hole. They have fallen in a hole. So other than it being a kind of fun visual, what was the point? But then he says, like, oh, if any of them were to get out, and I'm like, how?
You're going to have to literally dig a massive trench.
Yeah, you would have to find a way to get them out. Is this guy so far gone in the head, he thinks, walkers are dangerous, but radioactive ones, that's the way to go? I don't know, because I'm like, why show us that if it's not going to have any relevance? I mean, are we going to get to a point where he like takes people there to throw them in the pit? Like, ooh,
It's going to be a case of either he uses that as his own torture thing, or we're going to get some god-awful scene of him like lowering bits of wood in there to make a ramp. Or something, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, my first thought was, no, this guy likes to herd up walkers. We've already seen him in his car.
Yeah.
First time we saw him, didn't he have a warhead on the back of it? And now he's got zombies. And I'm like, well, this is a combination of the 2. Happy days. But they're in a crate. If there was a way out, they would have already stumbled across it and some would have got out.
Yep.
So clearly there is not a way out. So
you can see it visually. It is a hole.
And it's freaking humongous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so either we're now going to get shots of him with the shovels slowly digging his way down.
Yeah.
Or they're just going to find him miraculously, be like, oh, look, there was this way that they hadn't found yet. Now I'm walking them all out.
Ugh, don't. Let's move on. That was Fear the Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 9. The title of that episode was...
Follow Me!
No. Sod off. Do you know there's that thing of like, you ever see it like wrestling and stuff like that? There's this thing where if you go out and put a match on a show, this like night, to steal the whole thing, you basically turn around to everyone else and go like, go on, follow that,
Yeah.
With this episode called Follow Me, I feel like the next episode's like, yes, gladly, no problem whatsoever.
Not a problem, yeah.
Yeah, or at least I hope, because I think I will literally be clawing my own eyes out rather than watching more if it continues like this. But that, like I said, was Fear the Walking Dead, Season 7, Episode 9. The show has been renewed for a Season 8, by the way, so we have got 7 more episodes of this season to set up for that, and to hopefully wrap up some storylines here. I have been Sam. Thank you very much for joining us. We will be back, if you like listening to our voices, very soon. Marvel Monday will continue, where we're going to be talking about Moon Knight Episode 4. Probably the biggest episode of this season. It's certainly been built that way, and I'm very much looking forward to talking about that with everybody.
Yeah.
Keep an eye on our social media. There's a lot of shows returning very soon, and also the Star Wars universe is back very soon.
About to get very busy.
Yeah, this podcast is about to go nuclear. And on that note, big thank you for joining me, mate. I know this wasn't fun, but I will be back real soon, speaking more stuff about your favorite things. Until next time, everyone, take care.
That was crap. No, that's a wrap.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.